Alright, hey, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to you, hopefully elect. Alright. And just real quick, again, just through the spirit, was I've been wanting to do a video of going into, because outside of, I did a video titled the other day going into, it might be in my, because I'm more than likely going to upload this on my backup channels. So the video that I'm referencing, which was titled Yahushai being a prophecy of prophecies, that's the main prophecy we're basically looking out for, outside of the MOTB and World War III, in spiritual power as well. But outside of, because oftentimes we get in the habit of saying how all roads lead to the MOTB, right? The Revelation 13, 16, and 17, and 18. But really it boils down, it really all roads lead to Yahushua coming, because that's what in reality everything leads towards. Everything leans towards, it leads to the second return of Yahushua. All right, so but outside of that, again, major prophecies, as I mentioned, one being the MOTB being mandated. All right, that has to come to pass. That must come to pass. You see, and we are currently in a situation, I'll say, where, well, it's been being set up, because this is something that I've been saying for years, and I'm sure other, elders, other Akim, all right, have been saying as well, as far as the MOTB, it's not coming. It's already here. It's been here. It's just been a thing of implementation and mandation. All right. And, because again, just through the spirit, not to give myself any credit, because it ain't about me, to hell with me, but on the same note, it's further, it's furthermore of a faith booster to me, because I mentioned this some time ago, or some months ago, a while ago, maybe it might have been last year, going into the talks of the CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and just through the spirit, because that's how we gotta, that's how we gotta be. We just gotta speculate through the spirit, filter everything out through the scriptures. I mentioned a while ago about how when it comes to those CBDCs, it very well could be. Now, I wasn't saying it in a sense like as if the CBDCs were the MOTB, but just through the spirit, just putting that out there, that, hey, be on the lookout. We just have to watch and see how it plays out. Because again, I mentioned how the CBDCs could very well be the MOTB, because knowing Esau, he knows it and he understands prophecy. So with that being said, oftentimes he's going to try to do things to offset prophecy. So with that being said, he's going to package it up, in a way, right? So that's why I said, we just have to watch and wait and see how it plays out. But I mentioned how the CBDCs could very well be the MOTB. And like I said, it's all through the spirit, because 4 or 3 weeks after I made that statement, it was just like, damn, because, you say certain things. It's like, why the hell did you say that? And you just, kind of hoping like, man, Lord, please have mercy, Baba Kashah Salakia, because you just say certain things to the spirit. And oftentimes, I know that this happened with me a lot. Just to show you how the spirit may be dealing with you. You'll say certain things, right, that you may not necessarily have heard from any brother, right? And it's again, it's just like, damn, why did I say that? And 2 weeks down the line, a month down the line, 5 months down the line, the very same thing that you said, You know, again, it's validation, because you'll hear certain of the apostles or certain elders, certain brothers say the same thing that you said. It's like, okay, you know, because this should show you how, you know, we're all in tune in the spirit, you know, or we're all one. So, you know, it's all through the spirit. All right. Because like I said, just going back to how I made this statement about how the CBDC could very well be the MOTB, you know. And like I said, it was one of those things. It's like, why did I say that shit, man? You know, why did I say that? Because, you know, you don't want to get the wrong impression, you know. But nevertheless, you know, prophecy being a hot topic right now, and everyone's talking about prophecy, right? You know, it's all a setting up. All right, the stage is being set. Is, like I said, the MOTB is not here, or Slocky, it's not coming. It's already here. It's been here. It's just been a thing of gradualism and getting everyone comfortable with the idea of having this insertable device implanted under the skin. And that's been a hot topic over the past weeks or so, going into these CBDCs, and how, you know, pretty much the WEF, you know, as well as other sources, you know, pretty much coming out about how, hey, they want these CBDCs implanted under the skin, you know. But like I said, you know, we just have to wait and see how it plays out. You know, we just gotta watch. But nevertheless, hey, the CBDCs, man, it could very well be that MOTB. You know, but nevertheless, because this is, you know, MOTB talk, you know, the C-hip talk. All right. And like I said, just real quick, watching this video by Glenn Beck earlier, going into the ESGs, the CBDCs, and like how I mentioned in the beginning, you know, outside of Yahweh Shai coming back, all roads lead to the MOTB. You see, because right now, and I didn't get to really look into it yet, but I saw a few headings, a few titles going into how they're finally, you know, pretty much with the Fed now rolling out, which basically that's more so. And let me just say, because the Fed now, that's not a CBDC, all right. It's not a, you know, digital currency or anything, but nevertheless, it's more conditioning and more prepping, more gradualism, and getting people to you know, accepting this idea, all right. You know, basically fast transactions, more convenience, because that's what it pretty much boils down to, convenience for the people, all right. You know, because, you know, all the times you'll make a purchase, right, you know, and right away they'll take your funds out. But let's say you want a refund, it's like, why does it take 2-3 days? Why does it take a week sometimes to get the refund? Well, with the Fed now, it's all, you know, again, it's more gradualism, because with the Fed now, it's instant payment, basically, you know. So basically, long story short, when it comes to the CBDCs, it's going to be something similar, right? Because with the Fed now, that's more so with commercial and, you know, banks and, you know, businesses. But with the CBDCs, it's going to be more personal, all right? You know, and that way, basically, you know, the feds, they'll be able to, you know, trace everything, right? So real quick, before I play this video by Glenn Beck, I want to get this in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Revelation 13:16, and he calls it all. Now, the point that I want to get real quick, because I'm not trying to make this too long. In Revelation 13:16, as it said, and he calleth all. Now, when you go into that word calleth, it goes into poeo. You can look it up for yourself in the blue letter. It goes into the Greek word is poeo, and it says to, well, I'm gonna just get the point. It says to make ready, to prepare. And what exactly is, because like I said, it's all a thing of gradualism and getting everyone, because if they just all out come out with the MOTB, man, you know, for the most part, they're going to get a lot of kickback and resistance. But if you get people, if you cater people to this idea of instant transactions, right? Because that's what and like I said, they've been doing this. Like I said, the MOTB is not coming; it's already here. It's been here. It's just been a thing of getting the people used to this idea, right? Because at one point, everyone was walking. We didn't have credit cards and debit cards, right? Everyone had physical cash, coins, right? But at some point down the line, hey, you had credit cards, debit cards, right? And to fast forward all the way to this today, you got Apple Pay and the touch apps and all that stuff. A little one, because I'm just getting hip to all this stuff. I just found out that my debit card can, you can do the tap and pay, whatever. I just found this out like 2 months ago, so a little willing, because I'm so old school and old fashioned, man. I still walk around with physical cash, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I pull out some physical cash. So just to show you the times that we're in, but like I said, to fast forward, hey, everything is touch and pay and all that stuff, because it's all gradualism, and that's what the Fed now, and with the CBDCs, it's more gradualism. And again, because the CBDC, hey, it very well could be the MOTB, because again, that's what this is all. It's all a setting up. It's all constructing. All right, preparing people's mind to basically accept to get down with this beast system. Going into the SEGs. I think I'm saying that wrong. The ESGs, Slovakia, which is something I also want to touch on in this video real quick, that with the ESGs, because when you really go into it, it's basically just a credit score system. It's basically a credit score, like with what's going on out there in China. All right. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and start this video up, man, because I don't want to get ahead of myself. So without further ado, I'm gonna play this video.
I want to tie a few things together. First of all, go back to Maxine Waters and what she said about ESG yesterday. Listen.
It's become a dirty word for corporate America. It's gotten so politicized.
It certainly has gotten politicized, and it's unfortunate because it's inevitable that everyone is going to have to participate in dealing with...
Okay, stop. Okay, mandatory. It will be mandatory. You will have to participate in ESG. So everything they said about a conspiracy theory is now clearly off the table. They're saying it. So you will have to deal with a social credit score. Now I want you to listen to what...
Because again, when you look into this ESG, that's basically what it is. It's basically, just look up what's going on out there in China. Certain of us, we've reported on what's going on out there in China with their credit score system. That's basically what this ESG is. But check this out.
Kamala Harris said at the AI meeting yesterday.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters.
Oh my God.
It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in.
Okay, stop. What she's saying here is that we're going to teach AI about ESG. We're going to talk to the...
So basically, man, they want to teach, or they're teaching, Slovakia, damn. They're teaching AI to basically think the way that they think. The international bankers teach AI to think the way that they think, right?
ESG. We're going to talk to the computer and teach the algorithms to look for equity, to look for social justice, to look for environmental wrongs. to look at governance. Now remember, Maxine Waters just said this is inevitable. Everyone will be forced. You'll have to deal with it. Now they're talking about AI, making that an all-seeing, all-knowing policeman. So now, what is the punishment? Let me bring you to central bank digital currency. This is from page 154 of Dark Future. Now, tie all these things together. Listen carefully. When people think of digital currencies, they usually think of decentralized blockchain currencies like those discussed earlier in this chapter. But a U.S. central bank digital currency would likely be completely different, especially if it's developed under the Biden administration or another leftist White House. Why? Because they're going to teach it. Although developers of CBDCs promise these new currencies will be safe and designed to protect some privacy rights, footnote 373, one of the primary appeals of a CBDC is, from the perspective of governments, is that it would be programmable, meaning it could be designed to act in a certain way based on predetermined criteria. So tie this in. You're going to have an ESG score. It's going to be tied with AI watching you, and now a digital currency that is responsive to AI and those scores. A programmable central bank digital currency could be designed so it could only be utilized for certain kinds of purchases, or so that it has limits on the amount of times it can be used to buy certain goods or products. It's even more likely that some CBDCs, including a U.S. digital dollar, would be designed so the rules for its use could change over time. So if the
So basically, just to rewind real quick, man. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and rewind it, because this is going to be a digital slavery, a digital imprisonment, right? So let me rewind that back.
Now, a digital is, from the perspective of governments, is that it would be programmable, meaning it could be designed to act in a...
And a lot of people don't understand what programmable money is, right? Which, again, that's why I wanted to rewind it real quick, in case you don't know what programmable money is. Well, go ahead and play it on.
certain way based on predetermined criteria. So tie this in. You're going to have an ESG score. It's going to be tied with AI watching you, and now a digital currency that is responsive to AI and those scores.
So basically, man, with the CBDCs, the ESGs, all right, which is basically being programmed by AI to think like the international bankers want them to think, right? Going back to the CBDCs, which is programmable money, which, like I said, you know, the CBDCs could very well be the MOTB. I'm not saying it is, but it very well could be. You know, even more so, like I said, that's been the talk over the past few weeks about how they want this to be implanted under the skin. Because it's all about control at the end of the day. They want to be able to track, trace, control everything. All right, so again, with the CBDCs, which is basically all your information, right? All your information is going to be contained, hypothetically speaking. Again, I don't want to put the wrong, you know, let's just say this, the CBDC is the MOTB. All right. Those CBDCs, man, they're going to contain all your information on it. All your information of who you are is going to contain all your information. And again, it's all about convenience, because like I mentioned before, for a while, everyone was walking around with cash. And, you know, even to this day, you know, people are, for the most part, still walking around with, you know, IDs, birth certificates, and, you know, tangible forms of, you know, tangible things. Well, when you go to Revelation 13, verse Well, still in verse 16. I'm going to just go to the word mark. In the Greek, the word mark in Revelation 13 and 16. The Greek word is charagma, but when you go into the root word of charagma, which goes back to the root word charax, which, you know, it's just basically the instrument that's going to be used in, you know, implanting, actually physically implanting that, the charagma. All right, because make no mistake about it, the charagma and the charax is two different things. All right, so again, the charax is basically the instrument that's going to be used in implanting the charagma, which is the actual MOTB under the skin. All right, you know, in other words, the syringe, the needle, right? Because when you go to the word charax, charax, one of the definitions, it goes into a palisade. All right, which, you know, or you know, you could just look up a palisade, you know, but basically that when you look up a palisade, you know, you basically think of a needle, a syringe, because that's where that charagma is going to be encased in or entrenched in. You see, because real quick, in verse Luke, and I hope it rains out this bitch, man, Lord willing. Luke chapter 19, verse 43. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. And, you know, going back to the siege of Jerusalem, you know, when the armies came and, you know, basically enclosed, they basically shut Jake off, you know. But even more so, when you go into that word trench, it's the same root word that I just read in Revelation 13 and 16. It's the same root word for the word mark, all right, which is charagma. All right, oh, I'm sorry. The root word is charax. All right, because that's what Esau's going to do. He's going to make conditions so desperate, dire, things are going to get tight. And, you know, again, just through the spirit, because that's why I wanted to do this video, because, you know, this doesn't, it doesn't not apply to us, those of us that believe, the hopefully elect, because we're going to be here, you know, we're going to have to go through this, you know, and that's why we have to prepare our minds, you know. Hey, get ready, because things are about to get tight, because this thing is rolling out quicker than, you know, hey, some brothers are talking about 2024, 2025, right? But hey, this thing it could be rolled out this year. It could be rolled out this year. See, that's the thing with the Heavenly Father, man. And I'll often talk about how the scriptures emphasize the sudden destruction. Because one day, man, I always say, one day we're just going to wake up and it's going to be different. It's just going to be like, damn. You know, and 2020 was a precursor to that. Because, hey, one day it's just like, damn, curfews, right? And things like that, man. Well, hey, just like that, it can happen. You know? So it could very well be rolled out this year. We don't know. We just have to wait and see. But this is what's coming down the pipes, you know. Things are going to get so tight, desperate. It's going to get tougher than what they already are. And that's why, again, we have to prepare our minds, man. Hey, get ready, man. You know, because we're not excluded from this unless the Lord takes our spirit from us, you know. But other than that, man, hey, we're going to be here. And we're going to have to go through this. So, you know, be ready. You know, but I just wanted to show that point in Luke 19 and 43 about how that word trench goes back to the same root word, charax. All right, that I just read about, going back to in Revelation 13. Revelation 13 in 16 again, the word mark. It says again the root word for mark, because this is what's going to come down to. All right, you know, because like he mentioned in the beginning of this video, you know, hey, hey, like they were saying, hey, this is going to be involuntary. Everyone's going to have to partake in this beast system. And if not, well, let me not jump the gun. Going back to, again, Revelation 13:16, the word mark, the root word is charagma, which is, again, the actual MOTB, the implantable device. All right. But when you go to the root word of that, it goes back to charax, which is going to be that trench, that entrenching. All right. That encasing, surrounding on all sides. You want to eat, you want this, you want that. Well, hey, you got to take this thing. You got to take this thingy thing, man. You got to take it. All right. But even more so, when you go to the root word, and it's spiritual because when you go to the root word of charax, it says to sharpen to a point. Like I said, it reminds you of a needle, a syringe. Again, look up a palisade on Google. Just go to look up a palisade, because that's one of the definitions. Just look up a palisade. Look up a palisade. All right. And again, it pretty much should remind you of a needle, a syringe, and that's from there. That's where that encasing for the actual charax, the actual encasing encampment for the charagma, the actual MOTB. Because again, make no mistake, the charagma and the charax are two different things. All right. Matter of fact, real quick, because when you jump down to verse 18, it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And Lord willing, I get around to doing a video on this, because when you go into the 666, the chi-side stigma, all right, and when you look into the characteristics of, let's look it up real quick on my phone, and but basically when you go into the chi, the side, the stigma, all right, you got the chi, then you got the xi, right, which basically it's basically, because this is where basically Esau gets the symbol of the red cross from, which goes back to the brazen serpent, right? Which, like I said, I don't want to jump the gun, Lord willing, I get around to doing a video on it, but that brazen serpent, the serpent wrapped around this is pretty much where Esau gets the symbol of the red cross, and immediately, what do you think of? You think of the medical, you think medical, health-wise, the health system. Because again, going back to the syringes, the needles, that's where Esau, because very soon, like the apostles have been teaching, you're going to have these stations where they're going to be, and we see, again, like I mentioned, going back to 2020, 2021, even parts of 2022, right? Where you had all these medical clinics, all right? Basically all these shops set up to where you can come in and, hey, take that roll up your sleeve and take that thing. It was, like I said, it's all a precursor, because this is what we're going to start seeing real soon. All these stations, quote unquote isolation centers, so on and so forth, and everyone's going to be going. This is what John the Revelator was seeing on the island of Patmos. Those visions that he was getting. People lined up, all right, in numbers to take that MOTB, man. This is what he's seen. And that's why I wanted to read that again in verse 18. It says, "Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding." Because you see, again, this is, again, only for those, ultimately, it's only for the elect. Only the elect are going to get it. Only the elect are going to have this understanding. So that's why, hey, call Allah Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, through our apostles, our spiritual fathers and uncles, as a brother Isaiah always says, our spiritual fathers and uncles, man, have, they've been ordained to break these things down to us. We have the understanding now what this is going into. Because again, going back to that you got the chi size stigma. Well, that chi, when you look into it, when you look at the characteristic of it, the Greek letter, the Greek wording, it looks like that's basically where you get the symbol for the red cross, and you see the symbol on the fire, not the fire trucks, but the ambulances and stuff like that. Because again, it immediately makes you think about the health, the medical, healthcare, medical care. Because again, going back to the syringe, the needles, because that's where it's, you know, that's where they did the that's where the, you know, that's how they're going to be for the most part, dishing out these charagmas. You see, so hey, like the scripture say, blessed for your eyes, for they see. Blessed be your eyes, for they see, man. We had to understand it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. We see. It's clear to the elect, to the hopefully elect. We see it, right? But another quick point, going back to Revelation 13, same chapter, verse 16, going back to that word mark. I just want to get to the points. Going back to that word mark in Revelation 13 and 16. So, I touched on the charagma. When you go to the root word of charagma, it goes back to the charax, which is that needle, the syringe, basically. But when you go to the root word of, or slakit, because the root word of charax, it says to sharpen to a point, which again makes you think about needle, syringe. It says akin to, through the idea of scratching. All right, and obviously when you scratch the skin, you're basically opening up the skin, right? You're piercing the skin, right? Because again, this is going to be a physical thing, a physical implementation of a thing inserted, which that's one of the definitions of charagma, a thing inserted. But when you go to the root word of charax, right, it goes back to the Greek word grapho, right? And basically when you go into it, the grapho, that's that database, man. Because like I said, and from what it appears, from what they're talking about, because again, the CBDC, it could very well be the MOTB. I don't know. I'm not saying it is. But nevertheless, it's going to have all your information. So like I was saying earlier, everyone is walking around with all this, and that's why they was mentioning how, hey, because with this MOTB, man, it's, like he was saying, hey, it's going to be secure. You're not going to have to worry about your identity being stolen or anything like that, because all your information is going to be contained within this MOTB, this charagma. See, that's the thing. Convenience, as I mentioned before, it's all a thing of convenience. You're not going to have to worry about your account getting hacked or your information getting stolen or anything like that. Because again, this charagma, this MOTB is going to contain all your information of who you are. And all you're going to have to do is just walk into a store, get what you need, walk out. Right? So it's all a thing of convenience. That's why more and more it makes sense why, hey, people are lined up to get this. People are going to line up to get this. I'm just speaking as a man, I say by the hundreds of thousands. People are going to be lined up to get this, man. Millions. People are going to take this, man. Because it's all a thing of convenience. So that's why I read in the Revelation 13 and 16, going into how he calls it all, the setting up, the preparation. Everyone's going to, when it comes to this beast system, all right, everyone outside of the elect, those that were predestined not to bow down to the beast system and to say to hell with that, because this is going to come to a thing of, hey, you're going to be physically killed or you're going to be X'd out of society. You're not going to be able to partake in society. And that's why I said earlier, like, hey, man, the hopeful elect, hey, we got to be ready. We got to be prepared, because it's coming down to the wire. Going back to that ESG, that basically that credit score system, right? Which is going to tie into the CBDCs, which is going to go back to the AI, which is being taught by the international bankers to think how they think. And anyone that speaks out, says anything that the government so-called doesn't like, or whatever the case may be, any wrong move, hey, your score is going to go down and you won't be able to do this is stuff that we only see in the TV shows like Black Mirror. You had the one episode, like I mentioned in the video the other day. Hey, it sounds far-fetched, but hey, Esau, he tells you he tells you his plans before he does it. Like prophets on the left hand. They're just basically prophets on the left hand. They tell you what they're going to do before they do it. So it sounds far-fetched, but hey, I'm going to go ahead and play some more of this.
Programmable central bank digital currency could be designed so it could only be utilized for certain kinds of purchases, or so that it has limits on the amount of times it can be used to buy certain goods or products.
So that is programmable money. All right. Let's just say, for an example, oh, you spent too much money on such and such, so we're gonna cut you off. All right. Or even more so, because now, this is spirit. Because I ain't gonna lie, I got tickets backed up that I need to start. Because some people, man, their tickets are backed up, and hundreds of $1,000s backed up in parking tickets and stuff. I'm not to that point, nowhere near it, but I'm still backed up on tickets, and I need to get on that. But stuff like that, you see, it's not going to be a thing of getting letters in the mail and, hey, you owe such and such. No, they're just going to take it out. They're just going to deduct it from your account. You see? Or like I said, you already bought such and such amount of such and such this month. Well, we're going to cut you off. You can't get no more such and such until such and such. You see? Or, again, the thing about programmable money is, it's like a like you get a gift card from Walmart, $100 gift card from Walmart. But with that, hey, it expires in 60 days. So you got 60 days to use this, or it's just null and void. That's basically CBDCs for you, man. Programmable money. They can tell you where you can use it, how you can use it. You got such and such. You have such and such amount of time to use it. It's again, it all goes back to control.
It's even more likely that some CBDCs, including a U.S. digital dollar, would be designed so the rules for its use could change over time. So if the geniuses of the Fed wake up one day and determine that the U.S. digital dollar should no longer be used to buy gasoline-powered cars, ammunition, guns, alcohol, fatty foods, or pretty much anything else they want to ban, federal bureaucrats could, with a push of a few buttons, make their little authoritarian dreams become a reality. Depending on how the law is written governing CBDC, it is possible, and I would argue likely, that additional legislation would not be required to make such changes. In other words, CBDCs are created in Europe and North America, and the Fed and other central banks, not a democratically elected legislature, are likely going to be in charge of how those digital dollars are used. That's how the Federal Reserve and some other central banks act today, with very little oversight. A programmable digital CBDC could also easily be tracked, taken away, or have their supply greatly expanded, and on short notice. Think how effortless it would be for the Fed to provide a shiny new stimulus plan in an era of the digital dollar. Just make a phone call, wrap some keys on a keyboard, and boom, $1 trillion delivered to 100 million people, all within a couple of minutes. With all these possibilities in mind, is it difficult to imagine why a central bank or its allies in national governments would want to develop a CBDC? So, tie this again together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends have no idea what ESG is. It is vital that they understand that. That's what the entire first book, The Great Reset, was about. Once you understand that that's not a conspiracy theory, that is a way to control corporations first, all the way down to you.
So like I said, because he just said it, a way to control corporations first, which that's what the Fed now is, pretty much. Because like I said, the Fed now is not a CBDC, but it's nevertheless it's more gradualism and more conforming the minds of people of getting used to this instant payments and things like that. But from the corporate to you personally, to us personally, from the Fed now to the CBDCs, which that's more so going to be the thing that affects us, the CBDCs.
In the end, and when I say the end, I'm not talking 5 years out. I'm talking in the next 18 to 24 months. It will
and like I said, this thing could very well be rolled out this year. Because, hey, again, we're closer than we think, as pursuing Romans 13 and 11. Our salvation is nearer than what we believed. Because, hey, you just had to right now there's talks of this with the Ukraine joining NATO. Now, again, we just have to watch and see how this plays out, because I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. I know a lot of people, I know a few brothers, I'm sure brothers got excited, when the news came out about NATO, Ukraine joining NATO. But at the same time, it's just like, just speaking as a man, because if Ukraine was to join NATO right now, man, that will basically be World War III, basically, if you think about it. But at the same time, maybe not so, because, like I said, Ukraine joining NATO right now, it could go go nuclear, But pursuant to Revelation, the 7th chapter, and other precepts that go into how the Lord is holding back the winds of destruction. The Lord is holding back that nuclear destruction, because the elect have to get sealed. Prophecies have to play out, like the scriptures say, wars and rumors of wars. Certain things have to play out, such as the MOTB has to come to pass. But who's to say that if Ukraine was to join NATO right now, it wouldn't necessarily be World War III. Well, I'll say slacky. It wouldn't necessarily have to go nuclear. I mean, it can be, full-on boots on the ground. It could just be just boots on the ground. I forgot what they call it. But it wouldn't necessarily have to go nuclear, completely nuclear. And the water about Shimon Shai, it's about to part this bitch. So that's a good sign for me. So yeah, it wouldn't necessarily have to go nuclear. It could be, for now, boots on the ground. But that's just to show you how close we are. And as I, speak on these things, it's just a spirit, because it gets me hyped. It gets me excited, because it's just, man, we got to get the fuck out of here. That's why, again, we just have to watch and see how this plays out. We got to be patient, the virtue of patience, because the Lord's not going to operate on our time. He's going to operate on his time, which is on time. Like these fake and phony Christians always say, the Lord doesn't show up when we want to, but he always shows up on time. So, I know a lot of brothers and sisters, for that matter, man, are tapped out, man. It's just like, man, I can't do this shit no more. But we just got to hold on a little longer. How long? Not long. We're almost there. So just hold on a little longer to who this applies to, man. But let me see what else he says.
You. Then, when that is forced on everyone, you have an AI monitoring your every move. If you don't have the right credit score and they introduce CBDC, central bank digital currency, and it is programmable, exactly what Kamala Harris was talking about with AI, putting the information in that the government wants it to have, so it will have certain parameters that these leftists want to have in for your money. It's not your money.
So let me go ahead and end it up there. All right. And Lord willing, I remember, if you want to watch the rest of this, the last 4 or 5 minutes of this, man, I'll leave the link in the description. But again, everyone's, whether you want to or not, and again, this is why we have to be mentally, spiritually ill, and in some cases physically prepared. While a lot of these guys are talking about being preppers, hey, we're spiritual preppers, man. We got to be spiritually there, because this shit is it's going to happen in our lifetime. Second Ezra, the 9th chapter, goes into how we're going to see this, those that are I gotta get it. I don't want to butcher it. Salakia. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. Because this is going to happen in our lifetime. And, just according to prophecy and, according to faith, we believe it. We see it. It's obvious. Because, man, like I always say, man, if we have to come back, if we have to be here another 3 or 4 generations, man, we're fucking through. Like the scriptures say, if the Lord didn't leave behind a remnant, we'd be at Sodom and Gomorrah, man. We're completely finished out here. So if we had to come back through these niggas, man, these Tekashi 6ix9ines and these bozos, man, these weirdos, we're fucking through. We're through. So this has to be the last generation, it has to be. So with that being said, I'm gonna read this real quick in 2 Ezra chapter 9. I'm gonna start at verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, because it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad, man. A lot of precepts go through my mind. Because hell, even with those ICBM missiles, believe it or not, they never tested those missiles, those ICBM missiles, so they don't even fully understand and know the the damage that just one of them can do. Yet alone, just speaking on America alone, 200 million warheads, hitting down, because again, 200, according to prophecy, 200 million warheads are going to hit America. But that's not even to say all the other ICBM missiles and the warheads that are going to be hitting throughout the different 4 parts of the earth, But like I said, they never tested an ICBM missile, so they don't fully understand the destruction. They don't know. They've never tested one, so they don't fully know. That's why it's just going to be one of those things. It's like, man, it's just, man, a lot of uncertainty. It's just like, man, man. But that's just thinking, even before that, man, it's going to get bad out here, man. And that's why we're just hoping to be preserved, man. It's going to be real bad out here, But it says, again, verse 8, 2 Ezra 9:8, it says, shall be preserved from my said perils and shall see my salvation in my land. So that's the point, you see. It said, and shall see my salvation. So we believe this is the time that we're going to see the salvation of the nation of Israel, the elect. All right. The redeemed get redeemed. Yahweh is going to come and redeem. He's going to come and collect. We believe we're going to see this in our lifetime. We're going to see the salvation of Israel, the remnants, the elect. This is the lifetime we're going to see Yahweh come. The second coming of who they ignorantly call Jesus. Nah, man, fuck that nigga, man. He's going into slavery when Yahweh comes. All right. And we believe that this is the generation we're going to see the second coming of Yahweh, man. That's not no light thing, man. But real quick, going back to Revelation 13. Because again, going back to this, the image of this beast. All right, we're here. It's happening as we speak, as I think, as I speak, as I think, as we think, as we speak. It's happening. The image of the beast is being set up. It's been being set up. Again, the MOTB is not coming. It's already here. It's been here. But just through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, these devils, they've just been waiting on the right moment. Well, hey, Lord willing, this is, we're here, man. So Revelation 13:14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which had the power to do in the sight of the nations, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast. And again, more and more, this beast is roaring louder and louder. It's speaking louder and louder. We're here. The image of the beast, we're living in it. It's not a picture of Cedra Borgia. It's not so-called white woman. No, man. Now, granted, all these things are included in it, but hey, The image of this beast is going to boil down to that MOTB. All right, that MOTB. It said, which had the wound by a sword and did live, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And we've seen this more and more. All right, through the power of Esau, Edom, these international bankers, through the power of their technology, because that's what they trust in, their pseudoscience, their technology. All right, this beast is is speaking louder and louder, man. It says, that's why I read that in verse 16, man, going into that, how he calls it all, the poeo, the setting up, the preparation is here. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, when you go into this word, being killed, again, it literally means being killed. Some of the elect are going to get martyred, all right, guillotines, and some of the elect are going to get martyred. But when you go into it as well, X'd out of society, all right, because like I said, everyone is going to be in this position to where they're going to have to get down with this program. But they're going to have to get down to this system. That's what the image of the beast is. It's a system. And if you don't want to partake in the system, you won't be able to, pursue to verses 16 and 17. You won't be able to buy, sell. You won't be able to partake in society. You're going to be an outcast. So that's why I said earlier, we're going to have to, our minds are going to have to be fully, faith. Faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. Because, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when it all comes crashing down? What are you going to do? Because the elect, they're not going to take this shit, man. And we refer to ourselves as the hopeful elect, but it's easier said than done. We hope. That's our best bet. We just hope that, the Spirit is on us to endure. So what are you going to do when the system comes crashing down? All right. And when the new system ushers in, when they usher in the new system, and in order to go to the grocery store, in order to basically live, you're going to have to take this MOTB, this implantable device under the skin. Right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Speaking to myself, but through the spirit, power, and mercy of Yahweh Shema Shai, if you are the number, the decision has already been made for us. And, the Lord said, I reserve unto myself 7,000 men, that they're not going to conform to this image of Baal. They're not going to conform to this image of this beast. Because, the elect, they're going to say, fuck this shit. Because I know a lot of us, we can't wait for this shit to go down. The day's going to come where we're not going to have to wake up 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, alarm clocks, working bullshit. Man, the time is going to come where we're not going to have to deal with that shit. And it's just like, man, at this point, I've said this several times, like, I'd rather, and it's easier said than done, but that's why our faith is being built up, because it's just to a point where it's just like, man, I'd rather take my chances with Yahweh Shema Shai in the woods somewhere, man, because fuck this shit. The hell with this. Can't do this shit no more. Don't want to do this shit no more. I'm tired of this shit, man. So we can't fucking wait for this shit to go down, man. Can't fucking wait. Can't wait, man. I know what was that? 3-4 weeks ago at the camp, man. Right after camp, bro. Like, the lights went off we were downtown Orlando, and the lights went out. It's like, man, brothers, we got that little thing of that little spark of excitement. Like, oh shit, is this it? Now, it wasn't it, but it's like, damn, the Lord, he's gonna test us. He's gonna test us, man. He's gonna test us. I know. I'm me personally, man. I'm like, because that's something with me personally, man. It's just like, hell, I even told my rib a few times, like, man, we need to have some contingency plan, like, just in case the lights go out right now. You might be at work, I might be doing whatever, kids might be in school. All right, have a contingency plan, because this shit can happen at any moment. And I know, again, it's easier said than done, but I'm just to a point which is like, man, this shit can happen at any moment, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, Lord willing. Man, this is gonna be like, man, finally, like, fuck. Like, god damn, finally, man, shit, is this it? Is today the day? Inside joke. But nevertheless, that's where a lot of us are at this point, man. It's just like, man, I don't care what I'm doing. It's just like, man, as soon as you see these lights go out and whatever the kid, man, Call like Yahweh Shem Shah. Let's go. Let's go, man. Because we want to get the fuck out of here, man. The sooner Esau does his thing, the sooner the Lord puts a spirit on these devils to make their moves, hey, the sooner we get the fuck out of here, man. You know, but hey, let me go ahead and end it off there. Lord willing, this was edifying. Call Halayim like how Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. Until the next one, Lord willing, shalom.